Hello again, everyone. Welcome back. We're going to take a look at the market this week and start off here with the S&P 500 ETF, the SPY. On Friday, it was up $3.24, and for the week, up $10.17. So, we continue to trend overall to the upside. No surprise, both on daily and weekly chart. But let's take a look at the Elliott Wave picture. And I'm going to come back to the daily. I'm going to go here to the weekly. And if I zoom out a little bit, if I'm coming off the March of 2020 low in here, I believe that we are in a fifth primary wave up. And so I'm looking for 5 waves. And we clearly got wave 1, wave 2 with the peak that happened right at the end of 21 into January of 22. And then it hit the low in October of 22. So now we're looking for the third intermediate wave up. Now, my primary count says we're still running that. We're still trying to get the 5-wave structure to play out. The alternate count says it could possibly be that the third intermediate wave ended right in here in December of 24, and that we then got this big flat, which hadn't expanded with a very deep wave C that didn't end in the territory of the wave 1, okay? But it did dip into it and could mark that as intermediate wave 4. So that's a very real possibility. But either way, whether you're counting it as a third intermediate wave still underway, or a fifth intermediate wave that's underway, we're looking for a 5-wave structure right now coming off the low of April of 25, okay? So that is the most important thing, because we'll then just look to see how the wave structure continues. What does it tell us? So now when I come to the daily view, here's the way I've got it counted. I've said, okay, within the third minute wave in here, that I think we have one, and we're trying to get the second wave to play out. It's possible that the second wave ended right here on the June 26 low, but that would be an extremely shallow correction, because if I sit and take a ratio of 2 versus 1 right here, we didn't even get to 38% retracement. Now, there is no rule that says wave 2 has to be X, but the typical wave 2 is a little bit deeper. Sometimes they're shallow, but the typical, what you look for, is something a little more like down here in the 50 to 61.8%. So we'll see what we get, but this is what I'm looking for. So what the alternate is, the thing that's been thrown a little bit for a curve in terms of trying just to get a classic zigzag in here, or even a flat, is the fact that the push that's happened since that June 26 low and what we've had up in this push higher in here. So the alternate count on the daily in here is that this is a WXY, that we're getting a more complex sideways corrective move, which really kind of fits with what this market is doing. Okay, so what's a WXY? A WXY is connecting 2 corrective patterns. So it could very easily be that we have 1, which is the W, you get a 3-wave X pattern, and then you get another corrective pattern. It could, and the tricky thing about when you get some pattern like this, when you get a corrective pattern that's a combination of corrective patterns like this, a complex correction, is that you don't know what you're going to get for Y. It could be a zigzag, it could be a flat, it could be a triangle, it could stretch out. My inclination is to think right now that this is going to just kind of stretch out, maybe for the rest of the summer, kind of like the dog days of summer right now, the way things are going. We just stretch it out. Although we may get a pretty good look at what's happening, and this coming week, and this could all end. I mean, this could, if we push above these highs and get above the June 2nd high in here, which one is higher? June 2nd, I believe, 760.40, 760, yeah, the June 2nd high of 760.40 right here, okay? We push above that high, then I've got to lean into the fact that we had an abbreviated wave 2 and wave 3 of 3 is underway. That's what I'm looking at. So what have we got coming up this week? June CPI on the 14th, which is Tuesday, along with the Fed chair testifying in front of Congress. Starts the congressional testimony then. PPI and the Fed Beige Book on Wednesday. Bank earnings this week. JP Morgan, Bank of America, Goldman Sachs, Wells Fargo, Citigroup, along with Taiwan Semiconductor and ASML later in the week. So we got a lot of stuff happening as the whole earnings season kicks off. So either we're going to get an extremely volatile occurrence happening and we start to get more corrective action, or we resume the upward push to the upside. We're about to find out. But we got, when you look at some of the technical indicators, it's pretty calm out there. So this is where I sit with the Elliott Wave picture on the S&P 500, and we'll see what we get here over the next couple of weeks. Let's take a look at a couple of indicators, and let's start off with the VIX. I'm going to go back to this moving average view. That's what I call that. And let's go to the VIX. So the VIX on Friday was down 81 cents, sitting at 1503, pretty low. It is the lowest reading since January 9th. So, yeah, the lowest reading in 6 months. Now, can it go lower? Can we get even more complacent, more calm, etc.? Yeah, all you got to do is go back a little bit in time, and you can see that, yeah, we got down into this low range down in here, especially back over here in 24, before we had the eruption here towards the end and into the middle, I guess it was July, August, that happened back in 24. So yeah, and that's why I've got this color coded the way I do, both on the bottom, lower end, and on the upper end. So we'll see. We're starting to approach this lower band pretty rapidly, so we'll see what happens with that. But yeah, this is pretty much the calm before some kind of storm. Anyway, let's take a look at the put to call ratio. Let me pull that up. Okay, here's the equity put to call. So the actual reading on Friday was 55 puts for every 100 calls. The 10-day is 0.66. So this column C is my 10-day moving average of the actual readings themselves. So right now, we're not getting any extreme readings coming out of the option pits, but we're gradually getting more put buying that is coming into the market. Now, if you go back, remember I just talked about how June 2nd, the SPY peaked, and I know the Qs peaked right about the same time. Look at the activity that's going on, the extreme bullishness that was being exhibited right about that time. And lowest 10-day reading since November 29th of 21. Right at the peak in the prices. Now, the real question is, and that's why we're looking at and watching the wave count is, are we going to continue to go sideways to down? Or is this brief little corrective pattern that's already occurred, is that going to be it? We'll see. I mean, a lot of people just kind of poo-poo and go, oh, well, the put-to-call ratio doesn't tell you a whole lot. But, yeah, the thing is, it can give you some great insight. But it can also go for many periods for many months with not giving you anything. But that doesn't mean you should ignore it and not be paying attention to what's going on right now. So you can see the slow build in put trading that's going on right now. We'll see how high that gets. If we continue to get a corrective pattern and more of a pullback, yeah, we're going to get a lot more put buying and put in more of a indication of when a good bottom is going to be. Okay, so that is the equity put to call ratio. Let's take a look at the high yield bond fund to see what it's telling us, because you know, this, I always view this as risk on, risk off, although it is also an indication of, you know, interest rates, because this is, you know, high risk, the interest rates type picture. And so right now, this has been doing nothing but consolidating and compressing out into this triangle pattern that we've got. On Friday, it was down 4 cents. For the week, unchanged, just going sideways and compressing in here. So again, we get the VIX low, calm. We get the high yield bond fund compressing. Something is about to happen. The real question is, which way is it going to go? Okay, let's take a look at the 10-year yield. Is it telling us anything? Let me go back up here to Treasuries and take a look at the 10-year yield. So we are up 3 basis points on Friday. We are up 8 basis points for the week. So where are we sitting? 4.57%. Right at this top trend line in here on a weekly view. So this has continued to push higher. Even though we had the pullback, we came back for 2 weeks now and risen up like this. So if this continues and bursts to the upside, this is going to be trouble. It's going to be trouble for the housing market, real estate, for the stock market, and a whole lot of other things. So we'll see what happens and what Chairman Walsh has to say about this on Tuesday and Wednesday. And then the last thing I wanted to look at is Apple. I look at Apple every day and watch Apple every day, but I don't always look at the Elliott Wave picture on it. And I decided to take a look at a longer term picture of it on a weekly view. And here's the view. Well, let me tell you what, let me just start with monthly. Let me go there. So here's the monthly view. If you go all the way back here to November of 97, I don't know whether exactly that's November. I think it is, right in this time frame. You know, July. I think it was July when Steve Jobs came back to Apple of 1997. So we had wave 1 up, cycle wave 2 pullback. I'm counting this as cycle wave 3 right here, and then wave 4. It could possibly be that we have a much bigger cycle wave 3. It's long enough. It's much longer than 1. When you compare it, it doesn't go what I like to look for of 161.8% of 1. Doesn't have to. So right now, when I look at this fifth cycle wave coming off the low from November, December of 2008, where Apple bottomed before the market did, this is the wave count I've got on Apple. And it implies that we're in a 5-wave move and we're in the 5th wave of the 5-wave move. And if I come down to the weekly, here's how that last wave is starting to play out and the way it looks. It looks like we're getting some kind of ending diagonal pattern for the 5th wave. And if that's the case, we're going to have one heck of a move come in on Apple once this peaks. But I'm not saying it's peaked. Haven't seen it just yet, but I'm definitely watching. I'll be watching on the daily and definitely on the weekly for some kind of topping pattern in here that indicates this 5th wave is finished. And I'm not sure whether or not this B wave ended here or whether it ended here, but we'll just continue to monitor this and see how it plays out. But it sure looks to me like we have, a zigzag, 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 and a zigzag underway for the 5th wave. We'll see what happens. Okay, that's it for this video. If you felt like the video was helpful, give it a thumbs up. If you're not a subscriber to the channel, hit that little subscriber button. And if you'd like to have more of this information on a regular basis, head on over to joehenches.net. Everyone have a great week. We'll talk to you on the next video.